All right, so I'm recording this. Watch your language, please. Or if you're going to say foul language, at least say it in Kenya, okay? Or Swahili. Right? Oh, here. So look, this is kind of where we're headed, yeah? We're gonna make our plan look like this, okay? We got all of our spot elevations over here, right? These are all our FFE. What does FFE stand for? It's floor elevation. You call it level or? So FFL? Yes. Really? Okay. So yeah, FFE, FFL, yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. When I worked in China, I was in China for a while, and I really had to figure out what words they use. Because they all spoke English, but they would just use, instead of like a site plan, they would call it like a ground plan. I don't think they just had all kinds of. I'm always trying to figure out how I'm making sure I'm saying the correct thing. Okay. Does everybody have black colored pencil and access to some colored pencils, right? Do everybody get like everybody should have one black colored pencil and one regular pencil, right? So you got one of these. You got a black colored pencil, yes? Nope. What do you need? Black colored pencils? Okay. Here we go. So this is where we're headed. Our greens are a little bit different, but it's going to look a lot like this, okay? The great thing about this is if you mess up, one of the reasons I love colored pencil, because if I mess up, like this shouldn't be here, I can just come in and just erase it, right? Oh, isn't that great? That's like the closest thing to Control Z, right? Yeah. And then you can come back in and you can change it. Oh, but I don't think I have this purple with me, so right? But I can do this and I can fix it. So it's really nice. Also, colored pencils are easily available, so you can get them. They do take a while to use. Yeah, they take a little while versus markers. But I don't know if you guys have access to markers. You can get them on Amazon. I can recommend some if you want. But I use markers a lot. You guys can have some. Like this? Is it like this? Good way. That comes up. Okay. So you might order it and then it might arrive. Well, yeah. But there's a supplier here that you guys can go to and say, hey, we want to get these markers. Yeah. We'll buy them as a class or we want to get them. So I can give you some recommendations, but there's some that are quite nice. Yes. But more affordable than some of those, okay? The colored pencils are great because they're malleable. You can sketch with them, you can erase. Perfect, okay? So this is where we're heading. I want to cover some rules. Okay, so rules for drawing and plan. If you're writing anything down, I want to write these down because you're going to apply to anytime I'm doing rendering, these rules will help my renderings to read well and look legible. Yeah. Good? All right. Good question. Hey, do you have a pencil sharpener? Thanks. Okay. So, one of the things I like most about pencil, besides being able to erase them, is that you can get a lot of variable line width. You guys know what line width is, right? Yes. Yes. Maybe you guys have already done all this. But so with a regular pencil, right? What I do is so it's good and sharp now, but I can come over and chisel it on the edge of the paper wherever I'm not going to show my client. If I'm going to scan it, I'm going to crop this out, but I might come over here and chisel it, right? Okay. So I can come over and I can you can press down hard and light. I can go thick to thin, right? And so I can use this. This is what I mean by variable line width. Variable. Is that how you spell variable? Is that correct? Nailed it. Okay. Yes. I'm not very good at at spelling, but I can draw a decent line, so that's pretty good. All right, so I'm going to use it variable line with some, because in also in plan view, I'm going to use it some. You're really going to start to see when I'm in perspective, right? When I'm doing my shrubs and stuff, all of those textures are done with variable line with bouncing around, right? So I'm actually able to create this a lot of variety really quickly just using my pencil, and how hard I'm pressing down, and I'm moving the chisel a little bit with my finger, right? So there's a subtle bit of movement that way, and I'm pressing down, okay? So we're gonna be doing this in section later, section elevations, and also in perspective on Friday, okay? But when I say variable line width, this is what I mean, yeah? So and also, you know, what's the problem with pencil? It smears a lot, right? You always end with your hand covered in graphite, right? So the nice thing about colored pencil is that it'll hold, you can still get a lot of line width in it, right? You can still get a lot of, it does break, it's softer, so that's kind of a hard thing. But you can still get a lot of variation in that line width, right? And also, if you don't press down hard enough with your pencil, some people press down hard when they draw, some people press down soft when they draw. But the nice thing about the black colored pencils is a little easier to get darker lines, right? Now the pen you'll be getting when we do our sketch day, or maybe we'll hand it before, is this one. This one's waterproof, and so we can use it for sketching, but I also will use it for rendering too, sometimes. Because it will also allow me to do variable line width, right? I can get some thick lines. If I bend it over, I can get some thinner lines, right? So I can do the same thing in ink that I'm doing in pencil, yeah? And this, honestly, I remember getting taught this from this guy, his name is Greg Coyle. He's such a good graphic guy. But he showed me, he was like, yeah, this is how you do it, and then I just practice it all the time, yeah? When I'm in a meeting, whatever, I'm just practicing that variable line and making it work, yeah? And I'm drawing shrub after shrub after shrub, okay? So that's kind of the first thing I like to talk about. Now, I mentioned rules, right? So you guys, I'm curious, maybe you guys know these, but so when I'm rendering in plan view, what I like to do is I like to think of everything that's high, that's above, are there thick lines, right? And then thin lines on the ground plane. You guys do that? Oh, good. So I can just skim it, right? So thick down to thin, right? Makes sense? Yeah. Right? And then less detail up here in my symbol, more detail in my understory. Yes? You do that one too? Yes. Awesome. What about colors? I do light and to dark, right? Ah, perfect. Right? So light overstory. And then if I want to be able to see underneath it, all my understories can be dark, yeah, except for my ground plane, which is remains light. Yes? So remember, the only thing you have to do with this workshop is to give me a thumbs up. If you're getting it, thumbs up. If you're like, I don't know what he's talking about. And then if you're like, I don't even know what his name is, right? Okay, so those rules, right? Thick down to thin, light down to dark, light greens down to dark, less detail down to more detail in the understory. How are we tracking with those? Good? Everybody, please. Yes, you can be here. I don't care. I just want to know where you are. Okay. All right, good. If you're like, oh man, I don't want everybody to know that I'm really here, you know, then you're gonna cheat yourself out of actually knowing it. Yeah. So if you don't know it, then I will explain it. Yeah. And here's the thing. I always ask questions when I'm in class because if I'm paying money to be somewhere, I really want to make sure I'm learning it. Right? Plus, I'm interested too. So I always ask the questions, and there's always 10 people in the classroom that have the same question, but they're just like, yeah, I'm fine, I got it, you know. But I'm like, no, I don't. Can you explain more? So please ask questions. Yeah, you have me for like 3 days, and even though I talk very fast, I can still talk fast. Okay. All right, so light down to dark, right? Less detail down to more detail. You can see all my shrubs, right? In my understory, I've got a lot of thin lines, but I've got more detail in them, right? Then I've got thick lines up top, right? So let's look at this. And then with water, I generally use like 2 or 3 different blues. We've only got one blue in this set. But do you guys already have colored pencils? How many of you guys use colored pencils when you're rendering? Show of hands, put them up so I can see. Yeah, okay, good. Oh, great. So is this too basic? Should we not do this? We can jump into the modeling if you want. Should we do this? Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Okay. Because I mean, maybe your plans already look this good and we're wasting time there. Maybe not. Anyway, so let's look at look. Isn't this great? I drew a giraffe last time I was teaching this. Yep. But they were like, yeah, it's got a thick neck, so it's not really proportionate. It's not really to scale. But okay. So anyway, so that's how I do water. We're gonna have to try to figure out water. We only have one blue in here, but if you guys already have color pencils, just add to what we've got, right? Just think about, I'm gonna use this color set because that's what we have, and I wanna be on the same page, but there's no purples in here either. I love doing purple, purple ornamental, like flowering trees, right? But in this one, we'll just be doing greens, right? But it'll look good. And figured out the color palette pretty good. So here's the color palette we'll use, yeah? Just using these, we can make it look like that, which is, it's okay, you know? And then I want to come in and do some water. I'll go ahead and show you how I do water real quick on this one. And so anytime I'm working with a new color palette, this is what I'm going to do, right? You go into an office and they're like, oh yeah, here's our color palette. We use these markers, we use this, I don't know what they say. I want to know what it is, right? If I'm working with a new paint set, I'm going to do this. I'm going to study what they are, right? So now the process with color pencil is I do my color first, and then I come back and do my outline second. Because the black outline, I don't know if do you guys do that too? Like I color first, because watch, if I outline first, I'm like, here's my, maybe that's a pool, right? Like this. Then I come in and I say, oh, cool, here's some water. Right? Look at all that smearing right along the edge, right? Yes. Oh my word. Look at that. Sloppy, right? Yeah. Okay, first let's watch. If I come in real quick and I say, okay, here's a pool of water. I want to leave a little bit of white space in there so I can get a fountain bubbling. Right? There's that guy. When I come in with my outline second, I'm gonna have crisp, clean lines around it. Yeah. It's gonna look a lot. Oops, I gotta go outside though. So watch, if I was gonna go outside with like a dark stone, I would do this on the outside, and then I would come in and put the black on the second. Okay? So I'm not smearing it, and it looks so nice. I can just charge for the rendering, right? Yes. They're like, wow, I know I'm only paying you for the paper, but this is worth it. Right? And then we got to come in. So this is a water feature, right? So there's some ripples in the water, right? And then look, there's a big jet in the middle, so we're just going to show the shadow of that jet, right? Something like that. And then we'll put a little shadow over here, showing the seawall. Okay? I'd like a darker blue in there, but we don't have one. I think we can make that work, right? Definitely decent. Now watch. The other thing I like to do is fleas, okay? Do you guys have fleas here? Yes? Fleas? Small bugs that bite you? You don't have fleas? Yeah. Okay, well, let's call them ants, okay? You guys have ants here? Yeah. Okay. Look at termites. I see them. Okay. So look, so when I was trying to add in some dots, you see the dots here? That loosens up the drawing. It makes it feel like it's a hand-drawn thing, right? So I call those fleas. I call, we can call them ants, whatever. But you're adding those dots in there. It tricks your eye to think there's more detail to it than there is. Okay. So, let me draw this water feature real quick. And then we'll go in and do this plan together, yeah? I guess we'll do that. Now, I forgot, look, I forgot to put a fountain in the middle, right? You thought I messed it up. But I said, no, wait, I'm not done yet. I can come in here, I can erase the middle. Just a bit. Add some maybe darker blue lines, just a couple. Right there, how's the color? It's okay, you can see it, right? Yes. Right, and then I come around here. This is gonna be a nice stone raised seawall here. Like that. It looks kind of messy right now, but then I come in with a nice, like, for this, I might want to sharpen it a little bit. Oh, I definitely need to do it sharpen, right? And then come in and do these lines around. Yeah. And here's that water bubbler. A little bit of shadow over there. Couple of fleas. Shadow on the edge of this. Boom. Right? You want that feature. Good? Good. Okay, so here's all the colors I used for this. If you guys want, I can take a picture of it and send it to you. But we're gonna do this one together, okay? This is the one. You guys thought you were gonna watch me all day. And then secretly have your phone like down in your lap, and you're like, yeah, yeah. I know you people. Maybe not. That's what I know. I have some students that try that. No way. Yeah, no phones in the studio. That's what happens. Okay. So what? All right. So we familiarize ourselves with the plan a little bit. Yeah. You kind of understand it. What's our elevation right here? Yes, 17. We got a seat wall that runs from here all the way around. Yep. And then out of that seat wall, we've got a trellis or a pergola that overhangs right here. Yeah? I was corrected the other day and someone said, no, that's not a trellis, that's a pergola. And I didn't know the difference, so maybe I'm ignorant. But we're gonna have an overhanging shade structure here. That works too. We're gonna have a water feature, right? Then we're gonna have some walks coming down. A little plaza here, some stairs coming down. There's gonna be some lawn down here, and then a planted slope. And some ornamental like flowering trees. And then there's some big existing shade trees here too. Yeah. So now watch. When I start doing this, what time do we start? Actually start 9:30? Yeah. Wait. Okay. Do we take tea or no? Yes. When do you normally take tea? Okay. What's happening? 15-minute break? You guys are lucky. So it's funny because I just keep going and my poor students, they have to sit there drawing with me for like 3 hours straight. Hands are cramping, people are weeping. Anyway, we won't do that. Dr. Karanjas, he said we could have a 15-minute break, okay? We haven't even covered anything yet. Nah, wait, should we cover something first? Yeah. Let's cover something. Come on. Come on. So in Uganda, they say Panam. That's like, oh my God. Well, I think that's Uganda, right? Oh my God. All right, here we go. Watch. Let's start. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with the lightest colors, okay? Because anytime I'm drawing, just like we talked about with the color, doing the black last so it doesn't smear. I do the same thing with my colors. So I start with the lightest colors I'm going to use. What's the lightest color you have? Leaf green, right? Let's find that. Right? Now you're thinking, oh man. So we're going to come here, we're going to get a nice chisel on the edge of this. We're going to chisel that on your neighbor's paper so that theirs looks worse than yours, okay? Or you're just gonna go over the edge where when you scan it, it'll crop it out, right? Yeah. But look, the nice thing about trace paper is it's really smooth, right? Yeah. So watch, we're gonna come in for the lawn. I think it's gonna be really nice. We're gonna do a combination of leafy green. Watch this. It says leafy. Ready? So I also do most of my hatching and shading at a 45-degree angle, yeah? Why? I don't know. That's what the guy taught me. But if I do that throughout my sketch, then it'll create a lot of unity, yeah? Now you can see that someone, not you guys, scratched up my desk, right? Yeah. I'm sure it was the first years, right? Not those first years. So I'm gonna slide another piece of paper underneath so I don't get a bunch of added texture in there that I don't want, okay? Yeah. Feel free to do that. You guys know how to do that. So look, there's our leaf green. If you're waiting, if your partner's using the leafy green, you can come in with the flint gray and start outlining these walks. I want all of these at the same 45-degree hatch. Yes? Yes, sir? Yes. Yes, sir. So you'll see these as we're coming down. Everyone has a walk into the little building, right? Now, even in the plaza, watch. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put down a light coloring of this flint gray. Don't press down too hard, okay? And I want you to be able to come in and blend it like this, right? This is timber, dark timber, and flint gray mixed, okay? So don't press down super hard. So when you come through this plaza, you're just going to go kind of light. Right? You make those sound effects if you want. Makes it fun. Even if you don't learn anything, hopefully you enjoy it. Right? Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys already used colored pencils. Okay. And then while your partner's using the others, you're finding all of the lawn areas. And there's other lawn areas up here, right? There's all these, so these little squigglies, those are all our shrubbies, right? Yeah. Shrubbies. So everything is not a shrubby. You can come in and do that light. Remember, don't press down too much because we're actually going to come in and mix those in. We're going to come in. And on this one, I mixed in my nettle green with my leafy green for this guy, okay? Yeah. Leafy. What did I use? Nettle green? Yeah. But light down to dark, whatever ones you have, maybe you've got a good colored pencil palette worked out. But I always kind of like finding new ones and experimenting a little bit. Because a lot of times when I'm doing design, I'll do design. I did some design in Kuwait. I did some design in China. So I'm always and then I did some design in Colorado, which is very arid. So my color palette's very different in Colorado, right? Yes. Yes. So this is a little bit of nettle green. You can even put the nettle green down first if you're sharing 3 colored pencils. Put a light nettle green down. Oops. Now look, I just colored my sidewalk green. Oh yeah. What am I doing? Control C. Control C. Control C. Got it. Problem solved. Right? I mean, I do use a lot of ink when I'm drawing, but when I'm doing design illustration, not so much. Because I like to be able to think freely and not be too concerned about ruining it. Yeah? But you can fix a lot of stuff in Photoshop. You guys use Photoshop a lot? Yes? Yeah. Yeah, so much, huh? All right, remember, I'm not pressing down too hard on this. Just okay. Gosh, we're almost done. We're gonna finish this thing before 2. 45 and 50. You guys learned that too? Yeah. Really? Yeah. I don't even know why I'm here. Yeah. Well, I'll be teaching you SketchUp at some point. It is. Oh, there's a little bit of lawn, maybe right up here too. Oh, there is, yeah, there's some there. There's a little bit. Okay. That was, what we got, leafy green and nettle green. You guys see that? Okay, how's the color? Ooh. Okay, it's a little bright. It looks better on my paper than it does on the screen. I promise, okay? Hopefully it looks better on your screen too. Yeah, yeah, that's better. All right, we come through with some nettle green too. Right, it's nice and light. Oh, that's good. And then we've got what else? Flint gray. This one only came with one gray, but we'll just combine it with other colors and it's gonna be fantastic. So here's our flint gray, right? I also like learning to draw or render things quickly, so I'm not here till 3 a.m. Yeah. I want my professor to think I was here till 3 a.m. No, I just render it that fast, right? And when you're working, you're like, oh yeah, I want you to pay me in a lump sum, yeah? Because it's gonna take a long time for me to make that amazing render. But really? All right, so here's all we're getting. This is all flint gray. It's pretty light. You might not even be able to see the flint gray on there. It should show up, yeah. All right, but in terms of time, I'm going to focus on this area so we can get through it. And you guys are going to finish all of these later, huh? So you will have homework. Oh, sorry. So you better call that date tonight. You're like, look, it's not you, it's me. Yeah, no, yeah. Same as the guy who was late, then gave us homework, right? Look, we're even gonna do the road with the same gray real quick. And then we'll add some black into it. This is all, we got a whole bunch of flint gray going on here, yeah? Yeah. Great. And then over here on the road, we're going to take that black color pencil we got. I haven't done this yet, so I'm probably going to study a small piece of it on a piece of gray. Anytime I'm working on a new color palette, I always have an extra piece of trace around that I can work with, right? There's that. There's something real light with this guy. It's just like tarmac, right? Yeah. You guys call it tarmac or asphalt? We're coming in with some tarmac here, not too much. This. Okay. Good. That's good. Oh, there's a little bit of lawn right here too. I forgot. Oh, we could probably shrub that up too, I think. Oh, this is a little bit of right down here. This paving also. A little trellis and some paving right here. Okay. Oh, this is coming along. Okay. Now, so that's good, right? We're not even outlining in black yet. I come back at the end, I outline it in black, and I do all my shadows last. Yeah. Yeah. So let's keep moving. All right, how's our speed? We good? Yeah. I'm going to leave this up too. Or I can even take a picture of it and send it to you so you can finish it for homework. Yeah. Yeah. Because I want you to know how to render in Plan View, but I really want you to know how to do SketchUp. Right? Yeah. All right. So then for our understory, light down to dark, right? I'm using, what is this? Foliage grading. Yeah, foliage green was what I was using for both of it, or wood green, but foliage is real nice and dark, so let's use that guy. Understory shrubs. Foliage upgrade, yeah? The shrubs. Can't do it. Now, watch this. The same thing, so look, this is the whole like vegetated, this is all shrubs underneath, yeah? If you wanted to, if I was being more detailed, I might use more greens and add more variation, yeah? But for at this scale, I'm just doing one green to kind of show the shrubs, yeah? If I were zooming in more, if this were a larger scale project, this was like, maybe 1 to 50 or something like that, I'd have probably be more than this, probably 1 to 25. I'd be showing a lot more detail, yeah? So depending on how much you're zooming in, you might have to add more color to your shrubs. But most of the time I start off just with kind of showing, here's the shrubs, here's the trees, here's the space. So watch, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that darker green, same 45, right? Now, I don't know if you can tell, but when I'm doing this, I'm doing that same variable. So I'm pressing down and pulling up. So I've got a lot of slight variation in my greens, yeah? See that? Oh, that's gonna make it look real nice. So we're gonna come through my shrubs. All right. Yeah, I am pressing down pretty hard to make this guy dark. Foliage green is the one we're using right now. If your partner is holding on to the foliage green, you're like, come on, man. You're gonna pull out dark timber, yeah? It's also a cologne, okay? You can buy this. So we're gonna come down here. We use the flint gray in our plaza, right? But I want this to be fancy stone. All this is concrete. The client's not gonna pay for stone everywhere. We just got stone or pavers here, and we got concrete everywhere else, right? So we're gonna come through. We're just gonna add. We're gonna get a good chisel. So we know where that is. And we're gonna come through and we're gonna add this over the top of that. Not too dark, yeah? It's a blending. Because we're gonna use dark timber again for actual wood. But this one I want to be like a kind of a light combination there. Okay? Yeah. There's also another plaza over here. Fancy stone. And then there's one down here also. So one of you is using the foliage green, going after the shrubbery. And someone else is doing this, right? That's dark timber. Dark timber. Yeah. Right? I'm coming in here now. If you have, did my bring colored pencils with them? No. If you did, I had some oops. I would add in a little bit of color wherever I'm having like some. I'm trying to add emphasis in my design, right? Trying to say, oh, this spot over here is really nice. And there's gonna be some flowering shrubbies. Yeah. I would come in. Hang on. You guys, does anybody's table have a few guns? You got one? Yes. Are there any more? The last one. My favorite color, too, green. Now, you know what was really special last week? Asked me. But you want me to tell you? Yeah. Well, some of them do. Oh, it was my birthday. Wasn't that nice? So then I was at the school that I taught at, and they got me a K. Wait a minute. How old do you think I am? Oh, keep going. Keep going. Let me hear some others. You say 24? What should you do? Okay, you're close with 35. 35? Someone said 35? There's only a little bit of blonde in this. I mean, a little bit of white. It's mostly blonde. Okay? I'm 41. Yeah, I know. I know. I know. I mean, sometimes I'm amazed. All right, so look, while I was blathering, I'm also rendering this thing with a little bit of color, okay? What's a purple shrub you guys got here? Oh, what's that one that's really low to the ground? And it blooms bluish purple? It only gets about this tall? Oh my gosh. If I know more plants than you do. What's another one that blooms purple? There's another one that blooms purple. It gets about this high. It has dark green leaves on it and purple flowers. Very common. Starts with an R. Agapanthus, that's my favorite flower, actually. So maybe it's Agapanthus, right? Anyway, I'm gonna just a little corner. Okay, almost there. Watch, I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna add some more of this. I was thinking, isn't it Ruellia? Ruellia? You guys know Ruellia? That might be the common name. Look, I'm having some purple in here. And you're thinking, oh, it's so nice and beautiful. Or you just doing this. Now for this, I'm pressing down pretty hard because I'm not mixing anything with it, right? Oh, I said I was gonna stop, but it's like we will have tea. Watch, we're gonna come down here. Now, what I'm gonna do. There's green, now. Okay. Then we can do our overhead. And at the end, we're gonna come through and do all of our lines, okay? So whether you're just doing it with that dark green, or you can vary I would use dark greens at the bottom. The mossy green, I didn't like that at all. Look at that thing, it's almost black. No way. But, foliage green, super nice. What other sap green was pretty nice too, right? So you could come in, you're like, oh, this is a different species over here. Right? Give me a species, somebody. What is this guy? But honestly, look at that. I'm not a big fan of that. That was sap green. We're gonna come in with some foliage and help them out there. Well, it's understory, so we're making sure it's good and dark, right? Now that we did it once, we better do it. All right, we're gonna stop. I gotta put my pencil down. Pencil down. I mean, isn't it great that we can get paid to color? Yeah. Did you ever think when you were little and you draw in your coloring books that you'd be getting? Well, okay, right now you're paying to learn to color. Someday, you color in the lines. Okay, Pause. At least we've at least done something, right? How long do we take tea? 15 minutes? 5 minutes? 15 to 20. Okay. I'll pause this recording. And we're back. Okay, welcome. You're most welcome back. All right, remember, I'm going to focus on this area because this area is going to show us everything. You guys are going to come in and you're going to finish the whole plan this evening. Yeah? Or maybe I'll have you finish your SketchUp while I'm seeing. We'll see how fast we go. So we've got all our shrubs in here, right? We'll come into our water in a minute. But I'm going to do this shrubbies down here, and then we're going to do these trees, and then these over here, okay? So we're just using our colors. We haven't outlined anything. You're coming in late. I do want you to sharpen both ends of your pencil, okay? Because on one of them, when we start doing our outlines, we're going to come in and we're going to chisel it. We're going to put it thick. So we can do oops. We're going to do thick lines at this end. Then we'll have thin lines at this end. Okay. Oh, so nice. So if I'm doing a big color pencil rendering, I will have my company buy me about 10 of these, or if I'm doing it for my own work, I sharpen all of them, so I'm not spending sharpening, right? Okay, so we're going to use them in a minute, but let's jump back into this. Hopefully you caught up to this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and do this down here with that same dark green. If anybody has some purple, and maybe somebody bought another color pencil set, you can let your friends try it out. You can add some color in here. We could kind of come in and see this oak tree is kind of a yellowish. It kind of looks a little bit like yellow. What's a yellow flowering ground cover that you have here? Creeping daisy, right? Don't you guys have creeping daisy? Let's try this. It looks yellow enough, I think. Creeping daisy? Anybody? No. Creeping daisy. So that was an oak tree just with some highlights, right? Oh, I didn't do smoking. So just say this is a creeping daisy right here. Hold on, people. Keep going. You guys keep going. Sorry. Creeping daisy. Come on now. Yes. Right? Wooddelia. Wooddelia. Right? Hey, we got a couple. We got a couple, right? Yeah, so make sure next time you see somebody who has a really nice nursery on the side of the road, you pull over, you take all the pictures you can, you ask them their common names, then you go home and you identify those. Because you might be designing something that says, oh yeah, we're gonna do this over here. But unless you know what plants you can actually get to have installed, then you just kind of have to make stuff up. Yep. From Wooddelia, this stuff will take over though, right? I was at the Windsor. Hang on. Oh, I gotta try to skip any of my embarrassing photos I have. Don't look. Don't. Oh, there's my kids. They're so great. Look. So here's creeping daisy. Yeah. Something's eating the flowers, but this stuff will not die. So you have to be careful because it will take over a lot of stuff. Yeah. Okay. Now, one of the things I like. Oh, look at this little bird. You guys probably see him all the time. Anyway. But I did like some of their combinations that they had at the Windsor, right? So you got a begonia in the foreground, right? What is that? We just learned it. What is it? Ruellia, right? Ruellia. Penstemon, is that right? Firecracker. And then there's what is that? There's a bird of paradise. What's the botanic name? Bird of paradise. God, I don't really know. But I was just glad that you had one of them, right? Well, you probably have a lot more. You guys probably know. I just these are the common ones that I would use in Uganda, and I saw a bunch of them still on the side of the road here. So it's good. It's good to know those things when you're when you're doing planting design, right? Okay. So let's keep going. We're in our foliage. I'm gonna try to do this for maybe another 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna jump into SketchUp. Maybe just 30 more minutes, yeah? I want to give you the rudiments of this so you can produce a good plan. Maybe you already can. Some of you probably can draw a good plan. But I want you to have another way of doing plan graphics by hand. The magic on this is really when we come back in with the dark black outlines and the shadows. That's what makes it pop, right? The reason it looks so good, or the reason you can understand what's happening in it is because of the shadows, right? That's what gives everything the depth and the freedom. Okay? So we're doing that. We got all that in there. That'll work. Now for our trellis. That's oak tree highlights with some foliage green in there, yeah? Now, what trellis color should we use? Chestnut brown. That's nice. What did I use last time? Oh, hawthorn brown. Let's go hawthorn brown, yeah? Well, you could try chestnut brown too if you're having to fight with your partner. Or you guys could do Rochambeau. Do you guys do that? Paper, rock, scissors? Yes. Yes? Rock, paper, scissors? All right, so this is hawthorn brown. Now, this one I'm going to press down pretty hard because this is going to be pretty dark, right? This is a trellis with slats, right? Have you guys designed structures yet? Awesome. All right, so we're going to do something like that with a dark. Now, in order for this to work, you're going to have to have a beam holding up all of these, right? So we're going to show a rounded beam right here. Another beam up front. Okay. So that's a trellis. You'll see it in the section tomorrow. Actually, the section's on here. But what we have is we have the plaza. And then we have a seat wall like this. And then out of that seat wall, we have a post. Right? And then we have this trellis thing doing this. Okay. So then there's a beam that's right here, right there. And then maybe there's another small beam up here that holds it together, right? And it has some slats. These are the post, beam, and then joist, right? Post, beam, joist. Yes? Post, beam, joist. Post, beam, joist. Not joist. Joist. Do you guys say joist? Joist. Joist. Oh, love it. The lady in Uganda would always say. Love it. Yep. So joist, that's the beam and the post. We'll build it in 3D. We'll do it in SketchUp and you'll understand what it is, okay? So that's what it looks like. And here's a little person enjoying the shade, right? So that's what that is. What else we need? Let's go ahead and do this wall. What color should we do for this wall? We could do black, but I want black to pop into shadows. So let's do it as a. What color did we mix in with this? So let's do some dark timber down here. Not too dark though, yeah? Don't press down too hard. I want like light timber, okay? And then while we're doing that, let's go ahead and make that a color for all of our walls, all right? There's a seat wall back here, comes around like that. There to there, okay? And then everywhere you see these little steps, We're just gonna put a little bit of dark timber on here, okay? One over here as well. Put down like this, right? The nice thing is if you chisel it wide enough, you can just do almost one pass just to fill in the wall, right? Okay, so you're gonna do all the walls, you'll see them, right? Then we've got, let's go ahead and fill in our water. That was dark timber, okay? With water, we're gonna use the only we have. We're gonna leave the white kind of light. We're just kind of filling that in a little bit. Almost done. Ask questions if you got them, yeah? Yes. So we used leafy green for our ground plane, right? Yeah. So I want to use something maybe a little bit darker, or I want technically I want it to be lighter, but just a slightly different color of green. We're going to use, what did I use last time? Sap green? Oh, nettle. Nettle green. Find that nettle. Do I have on this one? I don't have palm trees. Did this for Georgia. We'll make some of these palm trees, yeah? Oh yeah, because look, so these guys right here, that's supposed to be like a conifer, or not conifer, okay? We're gonna make that into a palm tree, okay? Yeah. So let's put down that nettle green. Let's do the palm trees first. We'll use our leafy green, yeah? But we're gonna press down really hard. Watch, we're gonna come in. Watch me do it real quick. We're gonna come in like this. When you do that, make sure that some of the leaves or some of the fronds are longer than the other ones. Don't do them just all perfect, yeah? You have some that are a little bit different size. A little bit of variation, how much you're pressing down. Got a couple over here too. What's your favorite species of palm? Phoenix. Phoenix is nice. You say Washington? Washingtonian? Washingtonian? Yeah. What's the royal palm? What's the pretend name of royal palm? I don't know. So neat. Okay, so we got those guys in there. You can add a couple. Oh, there's a couple more over here. You can add whatever. Now, so that was spring green or leafy green. Sorry. Now let's get back to nettle. Where's that nettle we just had? Nettle looks like this, right? On the edge of your paper, I'm always checking to make sure I grab the right green, right? Somewhere I'm like, oh, is that the right color I want? Yes. All right, so look. Normally, if these were ornamentals or a flowering tree, I might come in and actually add some purple, like you saw on the other rendering, right? Or if it's flowering red, I might add a little bit, just a little bit of red to it. And what we'll do with this is we're just going to use a nettle green lightly, 45-degree hatching, right? And it's going to get darker on this side a little bit. Because that's our shades. I'm choosing that the sun's going to be coming from this side, yeah? Make sense?
Understanding by this.
I just do bottom left of the page or bottom right of the page. So it's light, then it gets darker on the other side, right? Light, darker on the other side, on the shadow side. Light, pressing down lightly, getting darker as we come in. It's gonna start to give these a little bit of 3D values, right? If they overlap a little bit, that's fine. Okay. Now look, on this one, I've got a lot of stuff underneath it, right? On some of these bigger ones, so watch what I'm gonna do. I'm not even gonna fill it in all. What I'm gonna do. All I'm gonna do is outline it with green. Then I'm gonna add some shading on this side, okay? Because I want you to be able to see all of the understory, yeah? If I color the whole thing in, you're not gonna see it. So watch, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna get a good firm chisel on there. I'm gonna draw this. Right? You're making that sound so it works. Some reason it works. Okay? And then I might come in and add a little bit of shading over here too with that green, so you can tell, oh yeah, there's something overhead, but I can see through it real easily, right? There's another one right here too. Like that. Another one here. This guy. These are the reason these are so much larger than these other ones. These are all existing trees, right? That we saved in the development. Delonix regia, right? What's the common name for that one? Flame in the forest? Heard that called Flame in the forest.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Now look, for these other ones over here. There's not much underneath them, yeah? So I'm gonna go ahead and fill those in with a little more shade. This is still nettle green, yeah? Now watch, I want to go ahead and fill this guy in a little bit more darker on that shadow side, right? Light, darker. Light, darker, yeah. Good, a little bit of this. Okay. And then the only kind of accent color we have is that oak tree, which kind of reads as a yellow, right? So we can come in with that. Just on these ornamental trees, and maybe there's a little bit on this lighter side where we're adding some of that yellow. See that? If I had a purple, I would use maybe a purple or a red. You guys are gonna finish the rest of it, but we get to good place. Actually, I like seeing this curve here, so I'm gonna add some dark timber for my curving right here, okay? Sometimes they'll do stone curves. You guys do stone curves sometimes these videos?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see them made out of granite. In Georgia, we have a lot of granite. It's the local stone, so we use granite curves sometimes. All right. So, I think that's about what we've got. Now we're gonna make it look good, right? If you were to hand this in, you can't really tell what's going on, right? There's no definition to it. If you wanted to differentiate some species in here, you can come in and have maybe slightly different color grades. These are different species. Come in with maybe a little bit of sapling over here. On that shadow side. But I think we're about there. Need a minute? Are we good? I know you guys are sharing colors too, so I can give you just a minute to catch this. Yes? Okay. If you need me to ask me questions about what things are, I could tell you. All right. Now, find this guy. Parallel ruler. You are going to love this. You thought you were enjoying yourself before. You just wait. Oh. All right. So the coolest thing about a parallel ruler is that it does what it says. Allows you to draw parallel lines really easily, right? So I'm just going to do some as an example down here to kind of as the intro to parallel ruler, right? Oh yeah, break them open like candy. Do you guys have everybody have them out? Yeah. Small or big, it doesn't matter. The real difference, well, it just matters how long of a line you do, right? And then this one, I know that Alvin makes the ones with the rubber rulers and with the rubber bottom. This one's really hard to ship, which is great. Which means I can draw a line, move it down, it doesn't do a lot. The plastic one, you have to press down a fair amount. Because the goal is that when you draw a line, right? I'm trying to draw something. I can draw this. You guys know hit lines? So you do hit, go hit, so you scrub it a little bit so it looks fancy. People love that. Why I like right? So we can go like this, right? And then if you wanted to make sure that that was lined up, you line that up, roll it down the page, and then just like that, you got two parallel lines, right? Then you've got a little angle thing on there. Does yours have an angle on it? We could find 90, right? And pretty soon, you're drawing some super cool pergola or trellis. Maybe it's a trellis. And even if you got the angle that you wanted to do, so there's 90, right? Close to 90 on my line here. And then maybe I want to angle it up a couple degrees. I don't know. I would just eyeball. One or two, you could maybe make it a little more precise. Right? There's this guy coming out. So that's a parallel ruler. Isn't that cool? And then, so you can use it to do lots of things. You know, a lot of times I'll use it if I'm drawing up from a plan view to draw a section, you guys can do those, right? Fourth year, if I said, hey, I want you, now there's all these elevations on here, I want you to draw me a section, cuts right through here, you can do that, right? Yeah. Right, scale, I can give you a scale, yeah, sort it out, great. So this thing's really, really nice when you're drawing, sections from plans, especially if you have a longer one, because all you do is line it up, draw your lines down. Right, and then you draw them up. I don't have to be a bonus video. I could share a video I made in Uganda showing how to do that. You guys know how to do that stuff. If you want, I can also share that one. All right, so that's your parallel ruler, yes? Now, the great thing about that is that we have all these guidelines in here that's already been sketched, right, with your boss. He's got a pretty sloppy hand, right? It's all squiggly. So we're gonna come in and make this thing look dynamite by using our parallel ruler, yeah? You can almost build this thing. We're gonna use our sharpening one, yeah? And watch, thick down to thin, right? So we're using thin lines on all the ground plane stuff, yes? So now watch this. I don't know if you guys will probably talk this, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. When you're using a sharpened pencil, you can keep the line weights consistent by rotating your pencil. Do you guys know that? Yes, you know that? Cool. So from here, I can rotate my pencil. See how it's rotating so that the line and the point instead of staying on my line with the same. It's also really helpful when you're working with colored pencil, which has a little bit softer lead. Yeah? So I take my colored pencil and I harden it off over here. I'm doing some loops with it so it doesn't break mid-line. Both of them. Right now, we're doing a bunch of skinny, thin lines. So we'll come here, we'll do hit. Right. Yeah. So hit, go hit, line. Over here, parallel line right there. Right. We can start here, we got some curvage. There's a line, roll it up, so that second line of that curve. You guys know to overlap your quarters, right? Yes? So when you're drawing lines that overlap, a lot of times, if I'm making, if it's a sketch or like an early concept, I'm going to overlap the corners of my lines like this, right? It makes it look fancy. You don't always have to do that, but a lot of times I do that. If I'm hand drawing this stuff. So these are thin lines, right? They are dark enough to read though, because they have a bunch of color on them. So make sure you're pressing down enough that you can see them, yes? Everybody tracking? Right, and look, we can actually line this guy up. Oops, let me turn it so that's straight on my page, right? Then I can get it pretty close, I can roll it down to snag this line. And that's the cool part about a parallel ruler. And, right, and put that guy right in your pocket. Look at that. Pull it out, you're walking down the road, you're talking to friends, catching up with your folks. And you're like, Mom, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Right? Yeah, your dad's gonna be like, oh my. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I thanked your school, man. Maybe. So here we go, we're gonna start doing these guys up here. Or maybe if he wasn't paying for school, he'd like, you know what? I need to pay it for you. Now that I've seen this, my money is yours. Right? I don't know. I had to take out student loans. You guys get student loans here or no? Yeah. Is it a good interest rate or what? Is it not good? Interest rate, can you tell me? You get in trouble, can you tell me? Yes. Well, send me a secret WhatsApp message. Don't. Yeah. Right, so these are all thin, right? Thin lines. Let's keep going. Using the parallel ruler, everything's coming together. Nice thin lines. Look how easy it is to do this water feature, right? It's all parallel. Line that puppy up with one of them. Start from the top. Boom. Boom. Right? Oh, and there's a little overlap corner. That's how you know it's a designer drawing, right? Now, everybody's tracking with that. Watch this. So anytime I'm drawing a curve by hand, right, I'm not going to make it look perfect, right? I'm not a machine. I'm not AutoCAD, right? Yeah. So what I do, watch. I add little breaks in my line, small breaks, not big ones. I just do this, the thin thing, and I'm coming along. And I'm adding a break. I'm not trying to do it perfectly. I'm adding these little lines. So there's little gaps. Show it down here too. So if I'm drawing a line, instead of trying to make it perfect the whole way, I do these little gaps like this. Not too many of them, but I just show that I let the eye of the viewer actually fill that in, so I don't have to make it perfect. Yeah? Because I'm drawing by hand, it's like an art, it's a piece of art. Not perfect. Perfectness, right? We're gonna come through here. Yeah. Oh, we might need a couple more what do you use? This thing needs to come down a little bit more, I think. Looks a little weird. Good. Still using thin lines, I'm gonna come through and pick out some of these joists, okay? I'm not gonna spend 3 days doing it. I'm gonna pick out some of them. I'm gonna keep moving, yeah? But I do know that the joist should line up here, and here, yeah? Because it's on a curve, so I'm gonna do a couple of joists over here. With my parallel ruler. And then in between those locations, I'm gonna come through and just do it. Because I can draw a straight line. You can't. Keep using your parallel ruler, okay? Until you get good at drawing fairly straight lines, okay? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna add an end on some of it. How's it coming? Good? Yeah. How's our speed? Faster or slower or just okay? Okay. What time do we take lunch? 1:30? 1:30? Okay. 1? Either one. After lunch, we're gonna do this in SketchUp, yeah? Just taking on one and one. You guys can stay later, right? So watch for that tape. 9. 6. Okay. So we've done this, right? Now watch, we're gonna use I just sharpened my pencil again. I got a thin line weight for all the shrubbies down below, okay? Now what I want you to do, remember that variable line width I was showing you earlier? We're doing this. Jumping around a lot, yeah? We're leaving some gaps in there. There's breaks in there. You're not just going. Okay? Okay? Now we don't like that, okay? I want you to do some breaks. Press down, pick up, yep. Good?
Good.
It's good. So over here, right, we have all these things. So watch me do it first. And I want you to learn how to do it. I'm coming in, I'm doing some of these. They're all really thin lines, but it's dark enough so they're going to show up. Yep. And then also in the middle, we're going to be putting a bunch of ants. Yes?
Yes, sir.
There's some around there, right? We're adding a little bit of texture because it's less detail down to more detail, right? Look at that. Oh, that's working. All right. Fleas and ants in there. Okay. And this guy over here too. I gotta come back and do some lines for those walks.
And please.
Yeah, please. But yeah. Going for over here. Showing the edge of all those little ground cover plants, right? Now, if your fingers are starting to get tired, you're doing it right, okay? You think, this is too easy. I don't know.
Easy money.
Better check that. Some more over here, right? Some ants, termites jumping around in there.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, don't forget, you want some food, some ants on your lawn too. Ants on the lawn. That's thin, yeah? Oh, I forgot my walk, pull out that parallel ruler. Watch what we're gonna do. We're gonna go thin line. And then because I can draw straight lines, I'm going to draw in my walls by hand without. I'm gonna show those stairs. You see the little stairs? Do this, do this. Oh, this is gonna work. Okay, now. Let's use the thin edge and add a little bit of detail to this plaza, okay? So we're gonna use thin lines. And this is when the parallel rule is really gonna help too. We're gonna line up on this edge. Come over here to start. We're gonna go. These are really thin, kind of light lines, yeah? You see that? We'll come in this way too. Line it up well. And you're gonna want termites on this plaza too, yeah? Come back in, add some of those termites. All right, now That's pretty much, at least in this area, that's all of our understory, yeah? Go to understory 2. I'm gonna transition to a thicker pencil. I'll give you a minute to catch up, yeah? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. If you're waiting for a color, you can also go around and add score joints to your concrete, yeah? Why do we add score joints? It's a score joint. You know, these little things like this, right? This is concrete, what am I doing? Expansion joints, right? Yes or no? Have you heard of expansion joints? Okay. And then these are like, maybe you've heard control joints? These are the little things that you cut with a trowel or a saw to control the cracking in your concrete, right? What do you guys call those? Control joints, right? Okay. Oh, good. Well, you do now, because the control joints. Because you're basically trying to control, concrete's going to crack, so you're trying to control where it's going to crack. Yes, yes. Okay, ready? Now let's jump in. We're gonna use that thick pencil. You just take it down here. Chisel it at the bottom, so where it's not gonna be on your scan, get it nice and thick, ready to roll, and watch. On the outside of that green line, we're gonna come in, we're gonna use that same variable line width. We're pressing down real dark. And I'm trying with thick line. Right. Now, don't forget to show the center point where you're gonna plant that thing, right? You're gonna show that center point right there. Same, right? That's where we're planting, that's the canopy, right? Okay, thick line. Sometimes you can differentiate species just by the center point, right? Oh, and then look, we got our palm right here. Coming in to get that guy. What is it, a fishtail? Is it a fishtail palm? Could be. Here's another one right here. A lot of sound effects. Yeah. This guy too. And this guy. And these guys. All that line weight is thicker than our ground plane, right? Now, sometimes, I don't know if you guys do this, but I'll use 3 dots for like a flowering tree versus one that just does shade, but you guys have a lot of shade trees or flowers, so. So one of the ways I'll differentiate another plant is by doing 3 little dots instead of, that's like a multi-trunk tree, yeah? So instead of having one trunk coming up, it's like a multi-trunk. Yes, multi-trunk. Right, so if you have a single trunk tree. Like this. Versus one that would be multi-trunk. Yeah. Multi-stem, multi-trunk. Good. Almost, we're almost to the shadows, yeah? I know, we'll get there, don't, we'll get there. Yeah. So let's use our parallel ruler real quick. We're gonna come into all these building lines. We're gonna draw them, they could be like, maybe a medium line weight. It could be thick line weight, thick to medium, you want to show up. Little overlap on the corners, so it looks intentional. Right, now what kind of roof, you want a gable roof or? Gable, I'm not even quite sure, you guys have to tell me what roof this is. We're gonna go halfway. Approximately, we're gonna draw a line. We're gonna connect that over here. Okay, these are thin lines on the inside. And then we'll come through and just add a little bit of texture. The neat thing is, look, if we want that same line up here, we just line it up. Roll it up to there. Roll it up to there. Roll it up to there. We can do the same thing on this line. Line that up. Okay, here, next to the corner. Next to the corner. Right? Good to go? Okay, we're good? Everybody caught? Let's do our shadows. First thing we're gonna do. We good? How we doing? Not good? Too fast or what? Too fast? The nice thing is, hey, the nice thing is I'm recording this. And so then you can go back and watch it. You guys can watch it together. You're going to hang out, have a party. Pull out your roller ruler. Impress people. At the party, yeah. I mean, if it wasn't a party before, when you pull this thing out. Right? It's a party now. Okay. So yeah, so don't worry. I want to show you how I do it. And some of the key things about it. I, of course, have been drawing this for a lot longer as an old 65-year-old man. So when you get my age, you'll draw this fast too, yeah? Very fast. Now, you do want to get one of these, you can get one with the rubber wheels because they really don't slide, yeah? See the kickbacks on these people. They should prompt me. Okay, so that's good enough. That looks great, or at least almost there. Right now, let's take our pencil. We're going to come down. We're going to chisel it to like a medium point. Yeah, medium point. Something that's not really thin. We don't want to spend all day doing it. Ready? And then we're going to do the shading in a few minutes. This is when it gets really fun. Are we ready? Ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right. So now, when I do a shadow, watch. I don't try to make my shadow too big. Right? If that's my tree, I'm not going to wrap it all the way around the sides. I'm going to make it just a smaller thing underneath. And it's actually going to have a smaller diameter than this, because that's also going to play a trick on your eye and make you think that that thing's floating above that. Okay? But our shadow's still going to be 45, right? All the way through 45. And we're going to do some small shadows. The taller the object, right? These trees are taller than those trees, so this one's going to cast a longer shadow, right? That makes sense, right? Good. And then, but I'm also going to do small shadows down here, even on these little ground covers. It's really going to make it pop out. Okay. But let's start out with some trees. We'll go up here and do some of this. All I'm going to press it down almost so it's completely black. Yeah. Right. Look at it popping off the page. Right. And if I have a wall, I'm saying, oops, I guess I did the wrong way. No. Earlier I said the sun was coming this way. Oh no. Fail, huh?
Yes.
Yep. Now I could go back and erase it, but I'm not going. We're just gonna, because I'm too lazy and I kind of want to get it done. And I think it's gonna look okay. But normally, if this is the darker shadow side, I want my shadows to come that way. Yeah. But I think it'll work out okay. So let's keep going with it. We're gonna make our shadows come this way. Sorry. But I think it will still look good. And just for the sake of time, I might come back in and just erase these. Oh, I guess I could. You guys want me to? Oh, no. No, tell me. Yeah, yeah. More time, more time. Okay. There's that. We're gonna come up here and do right. Okay, but look, even these little ground covers, I'm gonna come in and just do a little bit of shadow on this side too. Okay. And then same for this. Now watch, this can also be helpful. Sometimes I see my students, they don't keep their shadows going in the same direction. Right? That only happens on Tatooine, right? Tatooine, anybody? Star Wars? Come on. Babies? You know, look, you can come up here and say, all right, this guy's gonna project his shadow in that same direction. You can come in and actually draw some guidelines for where this thing would be projecting a shadow, you know? And now, because this is slack, there might be some gaps in there. For the shadows coming through, right? And we'll do this. There's some right there, we'll come on this side. Some right here, and then we'll do that, jet in the middle. Okay, grab that little wall. Now, what else? I need something along here, but our buildings are tall, so that we're not gonna have our shadow being cast. You could come in here and do a little, like a small shadow here, but most of the time, I don't have my shadow from my tree go over the building. So we'll just come in here, here's the shadow of the building. Right? And then with this big tree would work. Something like that. Yep. Good piece. Wow, it's really quiet. Drawing. Now, can't see the shadow for these very much. I'm going to show you how I do a palm tree shadow. Yeah, it's not going to be a solid mass like that. A lot of times, what I try to do is I come a little ways off of that in the direction that's the trunk, and then I'll come in and say, okay, that looks something like that. Yeah. Good to go. Make sure your shadows are dark enough to make it pop, make the things pop off the page. Yeah? Because if you do them too light, there won't be enough contrast between what you've colored. So it won't work. All right. How was that? Helpful? Too long? More SketchUp? Well, this is part of the process, right? So now we've got a decent plan to work with. Yep. We can show this to a client versus the other one, right? Now we're going to pull this one directly into SketchUp. I already have it scanned. And we're gonna make the model off this plan, okay? Sound good? I assume yours looks just like this, so I just went ahead and made a copy for it, right? Maybe? Oh yeah, if you're doing more over here, make sure you get the termites and ants, yeah? Oh, wait, I forgot, only to watch. One thing I like, do you guys do this with your stairs? Watch, if I have stairs over here, the easiest way to indicate when they're going, right, is that the shadow is gonna be cast this way, right? So you're gonna come down and I'm gonna add. When I go down the stairs, it's gonna look like that. Right? Yes. As you descend the stairs, the shadow gets bigger, yes? Same for here, it'd be a small one because there's not much of a grade change, but we get bigger coming down the stairs. Remember learning that? It was like, wow. Mind blown. Oh, here's some stairs right here too. Then this one we cast shadow like that. Right, because we're descending down, step, step, step. So the shadow's gonna get bigger, there's a bigger drop. Cool. Questions, comments? Concerns? How is this in terms of, oh, was this helpful? Or have you guys done a lot of color pencils? Or is it kind of just a little? Yeah, okay. Light down to dark. Yeah, all that stuff.